Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Romana with your histology practical on female reproductive system. Today we will be doing the histology of ovaries. Ovaries are actually two paired sex glands of female, and their main function is to produce female gametes, which are called as ovas, and they are also performing the endocrine function to produce female sex hormones, which are, as you know, estrogen and progesterone. Now we will be doing the histology of ovary. You should have a clear concept that when we see the slide of ovary under the microscope, we see that ovaries is covered by a surface epithelium which is called as the germinal epithelium, and it is lined by cuboidal cells. Just beneath the germinal epithelium of the ovarian substance, we see that it is surrounded by a capsule of dense irregular connective tissue, and this is called as the tunica albuginea. The main substance of the ovary consists of an inner portion which is called as medulla and the outer portion which is called as the cortex. So starting from inside, we see that the medulla, it is lying in the center of the ovary. It is made up of loose connective tissue and contain only blood vessel, nerves and lymphatics, while the cortex is the outer and the broader zone, and it is divided into two parts, stroma and parenchyma. Now in the cortex, the stroma is made up of connective tissue containing collagen fibers, reticular fibers, fibroblasts, smooth muscles and macrophages. Along with them, there are present special type of cells which are called as the stromal cells. They are actually spindle shaped cells, and they have got the characteristic property to change into endocrine cells. So when we see the primary oocyte, it is surrounded by a sheath of cells which are derived from the stroma. That is, they are derived from the stromal cells. These are called as the theca folliculi. So their main function will be to produce the hormones. So these structures, that is the collagen fibers, reticular fibers, nuclei of the fibroblasts, smooth muscle, macrophages and stromal cells are the constituent of the stroma. Now coming over towards the parenchyma, we see that the ovarian follicles in different stages of development are present in the ovary, and these are present in the parenchyma of the ovary. So the ovarian follicle, starting from the first stage, that is the primordial follicle or the immature ovum or the primary oocyte, as you can see in the slide also, in the center portion is present the oocyte, which is about size of about 25 to 30 micrometer. It has got a large vesicular nucleus with prominent nucleolus, and it is surrounded by a single layer of squamous cells which are called as the granulosa cells, and outside them there are present the follicular cells. As we all know that the ovarian follicle is a spherical structure containing an immature ovum or oocyte surrounded by epithelial cells in a form of single squamous layer. In the growing follicle, a connective tissue covering is also present outer to the epithelial coat. The ovaries of the female child contain only one type of ovarian follicle, and those are called as the primordial follicle, as I have shown you in the previous slide. But during the reproductive period of the life of an adult female, there are three types of follicles which can be seen in the ovary, and these three types are actually showing us the different stages of development of the follicle. During the first few days of each ovarian cycle, the number of primordial follicles, they begin to grow in both ovaries, and these are then called as the growing follicle. So in the growing follicle, The first type of the follicle is called as the laminar primary follicle. The oocyte increases from size to about 120 micrometer. The nucleus also enlarges. There are present mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, and rough endoplasmic reticulum. There are special cortical granules which are present in the most peripheral part of the cytoplasm of the oocyte, and these later on give rise to the formation of a layer of amorphous homogeneous material which is called as the zona pellucida. Outside them, the oocyte, the granulosa cell, they also increase in number, and from the squamous epithelium they changes to cuboidal epithelium. So can you observe that in the center portion there is the oocyte, then the amorphous homogeneous material which that you see in the form of a circular line is the zona pellucida, and outside them there is a layer of outside them there is a layer of granulosa cell which are now not squamous, but you can see the nuclei of the cuboidal cell. So now the follicle is growing. Now from the unilaminar primary oocyte, under the effect of the follicle stimulating hormone, the follicle changes into multilaminar primary oocyte, which is also called as a pre-antral follicle. Now the primary oocyte is surrounded by multiple layers of the granulosa cell. These multiple cells are then called as the stratum granulosum. First, the layer was squamous, which changed into a single layer of cuboidal cell, and as the layers increased of the cuboidal cell, it was called as a stratum granulosum. Outside the stratum granulosum, we find that the follicular cells, they also increase in number by proliferation, and they form a sheath, and this is called as the theca folliculi. If you closely observe this slide, you will see that the theca follicle further differentiate into an inner layer which is called as theca interna. It is made up of cuboidal cells in addition to the collagen fibers, fibroblast, and smooth muscle. They are actually transformed stromal cells, and their main function is, as I have told you previously, that these are the modified stromal cells and their function is to secrete steroid hormones. Then outside the theca interna is present the theca externa. The theca externa consists of only collagen fibers and smooth muscles. The contraction of these smooth muscles will help at the time of ovulation in the release of the ovum. The multilaminar primary follicle is also known as the pre-antral follicle because its stratum granulosum does not contain any cavity. Clear? Now the secondary follicle or the antral follicle. In the previous slide, the multilaminar primary follicle was the pre-antral follicle. When a cavity appears, then its name changes to secondary follicle. So the secondary follicle or the antral follicle is characterized by the presence of a cavity which is called as antrum. Many small intercleft cavities they appear, and they then collapse together to form a large crescent shaped cavity which is filled with liquor folliculi. With further growth, the granulosa cell, they also begin to rearrange themselves around that cavity. And in the next slide you will see that the oocyte is shifted towards the periphery of the granulosa cell, and there is a large cavity which is filled with fluid, and the oocyte lying within a heap of granulosa cell that is projecting into the antral folliculi is called, this heap of granulosa cell is called as cumulus ophorus. This question is usually asked in the Viva also, okay, what is cumulus ophorus? So you will have to reply that they are actually present. The cumulus ophorus is the arrangement of the granulosa cell around the secondary follicle in the antral follicle stage of growth, when there is a large cavity and the oocyte is shifted towards the corner. So now comes the mature follicle or the tertiary follicle, and the other name for it is the Graafian follicle. A large cystic structure measuring about 2 to 3 centimeter in diameter extends through the whole breadth of the ovarian cortex, and as more fluid collects, it finally ruptures and releases the oocyte, which occurs in the middle of the ovarian cycle, and it is called as ovulation. Now in this slide you can see that on the left side there is the one or two or three small cavities are present, and the oocyte is being shifted towards the periphery. Now there is in the same slide you can see that there is oocyte, then is the zona pellucida, and there is collection of the granulosa cell, which is actually the called as the cumulus ophorus, and the granulosa cells which are covering the oocyte towards the antral cavity are called as corona radiata. And later on, as more and more fluid collects, it pushes the oocyte towards the periphery, and then the process of ovulation occurs. If that is the release of the ova, which is then taken up by the fallopian tube. Now, what will be the fate of the Graafian follicle after ovulation? When the ovum leaves, this whole area is called as the corpus luteum. The Graafian follicle does not degenerate soon after ovulation, but it is transformed into an endocrine organ which secretes hormones. Now it has got two, it can end up in two forms. If there is no fertilization occurring, then the corpus luteum will degenerate after 9 days, and the cavity will collapse and the blood will appear, leading to clot formation, and that is then called as the corpus hemorrhagica. Later on, clot is replaced by the collagen fibers, and then it is called as the corpus albicans. So this is the fate of the corpus luteum if there is no fertilization. In this slide you can see that ovulation has occurred, there is no oocyte, however the leftover granulosa cell have changed into corpus luteum, and in the center after 9 days, as no fertilization has occurred, it is then you can see that in the center there is the blood clot, and this type of the corpus is called as corpus hemorrhagica. If fertilization occurs, then that corpus luteum remains and function to secrete hormones for about 6 months, and later this function is taken up by the placenta, and it then degenerates and is replaced by the fibrous tissue, which is again called as corpus albicans. So degeneration of the corpus luteum following menstruation or pregnancy, depending upon fertilization occurring or not occurring, results in autolysis of the lutein cells and an increase in the connective tissue. Finally, the corpus luteum becomes completely replaced by a mass of white fibrous tissue, which is called as corpus albicans, meaning a white body. These are all questions which are asked in the Viva and MCQs also. This is how you are going to see the microscopic picture of the ovary. In the center you can see that medulla is present along with blood vessels, lymphatics and nerves only. And as moving from the center towards the periphery, we will see that there is actually no line of proper discrimination. In the parenchyma you can see the different stages of development of the follicle. And moving more towards the periphery of the parenchyma, you see small primordial or the primary oocytes or the primordial follicles. And as we move further towards the outside, then we see the stroma, which is made up of collagen fibers, reticular fibers, stromal cells, and outside that there is the capsule of the ovary, that is the tunica albuginea, and further outside there is a lining of the cuboidal epithelium which is called as the germinal epithelium. So in this slide, if we move from, and I will repeat it again, if we move from outside towards the inside, we will see that there is a single layer of the cuboidal epithelium which is called as the germinal epithelium. Just below is the dense irregular connective tissue, which is actually the capsule of the ovary, and it is called as the tunica albuginea. Then moving inside, there is present the stroma along with the stromal cells, collagen fibers, reticular fiber, macrophages and smooth muscles. And moving from the stroma towards the inside, we see the parenchyma. In the parenchyma, in the peripheral part of the parenchyma, there are present immature follicles. And as the follicle grows, it moves towards the center of the ovarian cortex. So in the periphery you are seeing small areas which are the primordial follicles, and the growing follicles are present towards the inner part of the parenchyma. And please do remember, this is the MCQ question, that where are the primordial follicles located in the parenchyma. Actually, as the follicles mature, they will move towards the deeper part of the ovary. And in the just next to the ovarian cortex, which is comprised of the stroma and the parenchyma, we are moving towards the center of the ovary, which is actually the medulla. It is made up of loose connective tissue along with blood vessel, nerves and lymphatics. So this completes your practical of histology. Please see the next slide. This is how you are going to draw the structure of the ovary. Outside there is cuboidal epithelium, then the tunica albuginea, in the peripheral part of the then the stroma, and in the parenchyma you will draw the primordial follicles, and towards the deeper part you will be drawing the all the stages of the development of the follicle, and towards the center you will be drawing the medulla along with the blood vessels and everything. And in the diagram, when you are drawing it, you will have to show all the stages of the development of the follicle. This is how you are going to draw the different stages of the development of the follicle. The first one is showing the oocyte surrounded by a single layer of the squamous cell, that is the primordial follicle. Then is the unilaminar primary follicle, that is the oocyte is surrounded by a single layer of the cuboidal epithelium. You will have to label it properly, open your books also and then label it. Then comes in the next diagram, you can see that there is the multilaminar, and then the antrum begins to appear in it, then which is the antral stage, and then a very large type of cavity which is crescent shaped appears, and this is the secondary follicle. You can very well appreciate where the corner radiator is present. The corner radiators are the granulosa cells which are present on the top of the oocyte towards the antral cavity, and by the heap of the granulosa cell, which it is connected towards the granulosa cell, the oocyte, that portion is called as the cumulus ophorus. Please, you have to draw all these things. this completes your histology practical on ovary. You'll have to draw and write about each and every stage of the growth of the follicle, that is starting from the primordial follicle to the atretic follicle. You have to write everything and you have to draw it also. You will have to draw the growing follicle in different stages separately. You will have to draw the diagram of the ovary properly. This is your assignment and you will have to complete it by Friday. So thank you very much for listening.